biggest Braves coverage in the South is always rolling at thepodcastpark.com. Check out the fans' exclusive lineup of Braves podcasts, including K-Mac's weekly Braves update, the Braves Clubhouse Report, 643 with Dylan Short, plus the return of Hardball with Chris Domino, and the latest breaking news every morning at 10 a.m. with Matt Chernoff's Daily 10. Get our Braves podcast everywhere you get podcasts, or stream them all for free on the 680 The Fan app or thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
Hi, this is Chris Howard from the Play to Chris Howard podcast, and I'm taking the Suns over the Clippers in their game April 25th. BetOnline has free odds and lines available online or on your mobile device. Visit betonline.net today.
The Hyundai Tucson comes with America's best warranty. It's like a mental vacation from worry that no other brand offers. Whether that's up into the mountains to hit the slopes on a ski trip, cruising down the coast to the beach, or hitting the trail. So take a mental vacation, or better yet, a vacation in the Hyundai Tucson and leave those worries behind. The Hyundai Tucson with America's best warranty. It's your journey. Test drive the Tucson at your nearest Hyundai dealer or learn more at HyundaiUSA.com. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
The following program is brought to you by Podcast One Sportsnet.
This is an exclusive presentation of Podcast One Sports.
What up? This is Robert Horry.
Or three-pointer. Buries it.
You might know me as Big Shot Bob.
To Horry for three. Oh, unbelievable. This guy is off the charts.
What's going on, Big Shot Bob?
Robert Horry from downtown.
Now that's making a statement.
Always cool in the show open to hear Al Michaels scream your name and say, this guy is off the charts. That's just like surreal, the fact that even exists.
You know, it's weird because I've been watching, every time the playoffs roll around, they always showing clips of everything, right? And when you hear great announcers like Al Michaels say stuff like that, I'm like, I made it.
Yeah, man.
Mama, I made it.
That's as good as it gets, dude. That's as good as it gets. It is the Big Shot Bob Pod. I'm Rob Jenners. That's B-Dog Brandon Harper. A belated happy birthday to my friend Mr. Harper here.
Yes, sir.
Man, hold on. I missed your birthday, dog?
Apparently.
Man, yesterday. I am so sorry. I'm about to send you edible arrangements or something, man. My bad.
He gonna
just send him edibles. He's okay.
He's going to end up sending the edible.
Just send the edibles. It doesn't need to be an arrangement. Just make sure it's edibles. And then,
of course, your birthday, man?
You said, how was it?
When was it?
Yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, yesterday.
Yeah,
okay.
Taping the show on a Tuesday afternoon, sort of an impromptu podcast here popped up on us. And, of course, that is seven-time NBA champion Robert Horry, who I'm sure after last night has got plenty to say about some of the stuff that went down last night as we roll through the NBA playoffs. By the way, how's the other show going? How's the other woman?
She ain't as fine as you guys, but she'll do in a pinch. When you guys can't come through.
Yeah, I heard she pays better.
Yeah. She puts out a little more. She puts out a little better.
Oh man,
she shows out.
She puts out.
She shows out what she needs to.
Yeah, you guys are just good to go to the prom with, but after the prom, I'm going with her because I know she.
We ain't the girls you marry. Is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's something we pride ourselves on here. Well, here, let's start with this because this was I thought this was incredible last night. Let's start with Al Horford.
Horford gets by Giannis and throws it down and one. Al Horford, a primal scream. And Giannis on the deck, chance at a three-point play for Al Horford.
Now Horford got teed up on that.
He turned back the hands of time on that one, did he? Boy, he went to the hole. This is what I understand. If you're going to try to block my dunk and you get hit in the grill when I'm dunking, I got to be able – I just can't go in there and dunk all tight. Let me go in and dunk. That ain't my fault you got hit in the face. They're getting ridiculous with some of these flagrants, man. Like, Giannis, that's what happens when you get dunked on, dude. Yeah. So you've done it to plenty of people. So that was a bad tech for me, bad tech.
Yeah, but see, Giannis had a thing where, he looked back at Horford a couple of times, gave Horford a couple looks, and I think he may have gotten a tech for it. But come on, man. It's the playoffs.
But my whole thing is you can't control your movements. They want you to have, like, when you dunk, you excited, man. You can't be like, oh, I dunked. Let me just walk to the free throw line. No, he dunked on his head. You know, Giannis has done it to so many people, so comes with the territories. Yeah. Hey, and then, like Shaq used to say, you don't want to get da-na-na, so don't jump.
He did that a lot, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, for Giannis, too, the late Emmy nomination for the laying on the floor bit and the whole thing. And it's like, look, man, your adrenaline is thumping. I mean, I can't even imagine. And especially doing it to Giannis. Mm-hmm. Who, like you said, he's done it to so many people, and of course, all eyes are always on him. And he was, like B-Dog said, he was edging Horford throughout early parts of that game. So you know Al was going to come back and throw one down on him if he had the chance, and you know he did, but he gets the tech for it. So
and then it's just weird that Giannis is, you know, even the play where what's his name was trying to help him up, the defensive player of the year.
Oh yeah,
did you see that one?
Yeah.
But he was like playing dead, like. I'm like, dude, first of all, this is a playoff. You never help an opposing player up. I don't care if he's your brother, you went to college with him, you know, he's your sister-in-law, brother-in-law, whatever it is. Don't your mama, your dad, you don't help him up because you get back into the play and say, screw you, buddy. So
you don't ever help an opposing player up? Is that the
No.
Is that one of those unwritten NBA rules, or is that just postseason, or is that all the time?
For me, it's all the time. You know, okay. But I will let it slide during the season. If you went to the University of Alabama or I played with you and won a championship with you, I'll help you up. But other than that, I'll step right over you or look at you like you're crazy. You don't help nobody up, man. And that's the other thing. I don't believe in shaking hands after the game.
Oh, they do that all the time now.
Yeah, I'm like, especially in the playoffs when you lose and you want to go congrats. Man, forget y'all, man. I'm going to the locker room pissed off. Because you just took money out of my pocket. You just took the chance of me getting the ring. The only good thing out of that is I get to go home and see my family early. That's the only good thing. But I ain't getting ready to sit there and congratulate you and say, okay, man, way to play. Good luck. Good luck in the next round.
Different era, different time.
Yeah, it is. Nowadays, everyone's got to get their participation trophy. Otherwise, you know, if I don't get my ribbon and my juice box and my pat on the back, then did I really play? Did it count? Because what the hell? That series is turning out to be a hell of a good series. I've enjoyed the hell out of that one, man.
And that's no surprise there.
Bucks, no, yeah. but I mean, and even, you know what? I got to throw a little bit of credit, too, to the Heat Philly series, to the Sixers. They've found a way to fight back in this thing, and you could probably say Game 4 was all about Harden. I mean, he ran away with that thing, but I think everybody was waiting for him to have that game. But you got a couple 2-2 series here in the East just hanging out.
I think Miami's still going to win that series, though.
I didn't think that, you know, Philly would tie that thing up. I thought they would battle, get that one, and call it a day.
And that was it.
But you know, when you got great players like Harden, and you've been, you know, pretty much average, you know, for him, and he's average, he's better than most, but that ain't good enough for the, you know, the people watching. He needs to be above average. And for him to finally have that breakout game is like, oh, as if I'm a Miami Heat fan, I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah,
because you just need that one game to break that ice, get a rhythm, and then it's a wrap. So, you know, look out, Miami Heat.
Yeah, we'll see. That's another. It turned out to be a better series than I thought. Here's the number on Tatum, by the way. I want to roll back real quick to the Celtics. Hung 30 last night. Puts him number 5. Points scored in the playoffs before the age of 25. Number 1, of course, is Kobe Bryant. Number 2 is LeBron. Number 3 is Tony Parker, which I didn't expect him to be on that list. I don't know why. Durant at 4, and he just passed D. Wade. He just passed Flash. So,
you know, the thing about Tony Parker, people don't understand. Tony Parker was leading the league in points in the paint for a long time. His quickness got him to the hole, and then when he started able to knock down some threes, shit, he was a beast, man. He should be Hall of Fame come up. He should be in there. He was a bad man.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Spurs players I think that flew under the radar because that team was dominant at times, but never sexy. You know what I mean? It wasn't the big flashy team. It was like the put your nose down, get your business done, win your series, move on. You know?
Yeah. And we don't want to be talked about. We just want to play by. No, we're not doing the press. We're not doing any commercials. No, we're not gonna do that.
Y'all were the Patriots of the NBA. I mean, without all the other scandals.
I would say, hold on now. Like, it was no deflate gate. It was no tuck rule. It was no spy gate.
Outside of all that, but from the standpoint of, you know, just the way that you did things. The Patriots weren't a sexy team either, but they took the reflection of their coach. Just go out there, we're going to play hard, and we want to win titles.
True.
Yeah, Spurs were always that way. Memphis Warriors. You called this one early on. This is looking like it's going to be a 5. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, with Ja out and the way they looked, Memphis is. I mean, they had no Ja for Game 4, and they lost by 3.
Yeah.
I mean, without Ja Morant,
and the Warriors look bad.
And the Warriors were not good. But I mean, you get to hang that L squarely on the shoulders of Dylan Brooks last night, because my goodness, he was just not good.
You know what? Sometimes it's hard when people booing you because you want to try so hard to shut them up, and it doesn't work in your favor, man. Oh. And the way the Warriors look, man, they look like they was at home with Steve Kerr on the couch sleep, man, because they look bad, careless turnovers, doing dumb stuff, and it was, and I figured this would be the perfect chance for them to steal a game without Ja, because I mean, I think, but the funniest thing is what Charles said about Mike Brown.
What did he say?
He said, if you lose this game, you're gonna be the first person fired before you even get hired.
You're gonna be fired before you actually get to work on the job.
Like, they have no job, Morant, and you lose. Oh my goodness, man, you're gonna be fired.
But here's the thing: like, I look at Memphis and I'm like, bro, what has to happen? Because what was that game? Was it Game 1 where they played lights out and Ja, went off and Jaren Jackson went off,
and Game 1.
Everything was just going right, and they still lost. Okay, you don't have Ja in Game 4, but you ball like your guys play well. Like you had them guys on the ropes, and the Warriors played terribly.
Yeah,
and you still. Ja or no Ja, what has to happen for this team? I don't think they can. It's just not. They can't beat the Warriors, because I don't know what has to happen for them to actually play the way that they played down the stretch and then lose it.
Yeah, I think Slow-Mo tried his best to keep them in the game, but you look at this team, and I love Triple J. But he falls in love with that 3 ball, and it's a wrap, man. I'm like, dude, Draymond Green can't guard you. Go to the post, get some easy buckets, and if you want to, kick it out. They shoot the 3 so big. You know what you're gonna do? Get the offensive rebound. And this game now, nobody cares about offensive rebound. All they care about is shooting 3s. If you can get you some easy putbacks, shoot all the 3s you want, but let me get a rebound and get it back, put it back. But I think he needs to get him a post-up game and stop relying on that 3 ball. I know it's sexy, and every guy now wants to be sexy, not just on the court, but when they dress off the court and want to do those interviews.
Tyler Hero. Did you see Chuck with the Tyler Hero look, the post-game look?
I'm gonna be honest with you. You can be sexy all you want. You're gonna be sexy in Cancun, because that's where you going. This thing is over in 5.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, no, 100% with you on that.
So let me ask you this question. My Christian, my youngest son, he's pissed off at Poole. Do you think Poole is the reason Ja is out?
I mean, he did get hurt, but I don't think, like I said, I don't think it was intentional. Mm-hmm. I don't think Jordan Poole is that type of player. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's playoff basketball. I don't think it was intentional. I really do not. Yeah. I just don't think – I think the situation is unfortunate. They shook hands before the game.
That was just like a –
I mean, you're right.
But passing each other.
You're right, but you didn't have to do that, though.
Yeah.
You could have just walked right past each other and not acknowledged each other at all. But I just don't think that it's dirty.
I don't think he did it on purpose either. No. I think he was anticipating the ball coming back towards him.
Right.
And he didn't. Yeah. He tried, and so. Yeah.
But my thing, like I said, with Memphis, Ja there or Ja not there, we've seen 2 different occasions where they played a heck of a game and they weren't able to pull out either game. So what you want me to say?
With and without him,
They went 20-5 during the regular season without him. Yeah. You see how they played last night. They played well without him, but they still couldn't get the win.
Yeah. Yeah, Steph after the game was joking that they all just got traded to the Kings. They're like, keep playing like this, man. We're all following Mike. We're all following Mike.
Wake up
to Sacramento.
Wake up from that nightmare.
Holy cow. So, yeah, there you go. So Mike Brown is your new head coach in Sacramento. I thought Mark Jackson was going to get that gig, but now Mark Jackson interviewed, I think, yesterday with the Lakers.
Yeah,
so,
but how many times? This is what Mike Brown's fourth gig?
Maybe third.
Well, let's see.
Cleveland,
Lakers,
assistant in Golden State. This might be his third head coaching job.
So
I don't know if he's
this should be tonight. To me, my philosophy on this. If it don't work out here, you're done as a head coach. You become an assistant coach, but you should never get a shot at head coach. And I know this job is just to be a head coach and get more money because we know they ain't gonna fucking win.
I was gonna say
the Kings ain't gonna win.
You can't hang 16 years missing the playoffs on Mike Brown's first year in Sacramento.
Hey, what I'm just saying, he's just gonna be dangled out there for something better comes along.
Yeah, I don't know what you want this man to do with this organization.
Show improvement. Show improvement. Show another team that you're able to build a roster up.
Hey, you better be like this. Please get the number one pick. Please get the number one pick. Please let there be a Shaq in draft. Please let there be a Kobe.
Is there, though? I don't know if there is,
LeBron in the
man.
draft. Let someone.
I don't know if there is.
Let there be a Garnett in the draft. Something.
No, I don't think there is, though. I really don't think there is.
Sacramento just don't need a basketball team, bro. Because it's just they bad. It's bad.
They've been bad for a long. I mean, 16 years consecutively they've missed the playoffs. That's a number you don't want to.
You are literally the Detroit Lions, the Houston Texans. At one point, the Cleveland Browns of the NBA. You are an NBA graveyard.
You lumped the Texans into that group.
You are going.
Why you had to bring the Texans in there, man?
Texans weren't that bad.
Excuse me?
Texans ain't bothered nobody.
They were in the playoffs like 2 years ago.
Let me just tell you how bad the Texans organization is.
Oh, we don't. Hey, we ain't talking.
They're not even the trash. They the juice that leaks from the trash bag.
Oh no!
Wow, you just call them dumpster juice.
Yeah,
man.
you just called them garbage juice.
And I'm being nice.
Oh.
I'm just calling it like it is. Like every sport has these graveyards where careers go to die. Sacramento is one of them.
I agree with you on the Sacramento front. I don't know if that's a Houston.
What's the point of me getting my money if I can't spend it?
Man. I love Sacramento. We're not gonna keep this browbeating Sacramento like that.
As a city,
Sacramento.
you love it.
It's the capital of California,
and it's the capital of dumpster fire.
Who cares? Who gives a shit if it's the capital? The problem is and that's the thing. It's not the market. It's the ownership. It's the management, and it's the team. Because you've found teams that have found success in Minnesota. You found teams that have success in Memphis, in New Orleans, in all these different markets. These teams have been able to find success. Utah, to an extent. But Sacramento's never been able to really put anything of real substance together since Chris Webber was there.
De'Aaron Fox, listen to me closely. Get out.
You know what? I think ever since the Malouse let it go, it's been like, okay, they took the mojo with them when they left.
I don't know. Somebody need to get on the phone with Vlade and talk him down because I don't know what the hell they're doing out there.
That sounds like they need to do something right there. Vlade's at the helm, so you need to get him out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. It hasn't been good for a long time.
Yeah, Vlade. Think about it. Everybody comes as business disgruntled. Think about it. Boogie on down the line, disgruntled. So Vlade needs.
When we talked to Mitch, the same thing. Mm-hmm. Mitch was just like, "Yeah, that was a tough run." I was like, "Dude, that was a decade of your career." He's like, "Yeah, that was kind of a tough run." I had to leg that one out. That wasn't good.
Mitch too damn nice to say anything bad about anybody.
Yeah, I guess so. Because he was not. He was just like, yeah, it was kind of tough. Kind of tough.
It's bad. I mean, I know Mike Brown is going to get some money and the opportunity, but what's the point of getting the money if you just going to your own death? What's the point of getting it if you can't spend it?
Hey, Steve Kerr gonna be like, go on, get you, a couple million, 3 years. You can come back after that because you ain't gonna be there long.
You ain't gonna be there long.
We'll keep your seat warm.
Yeah,
and it's not even the fact you gonna want to get
keep
fired.
The light on for you,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Golden State is his Motel 6.
Fire me, please fire me.
Yeah, send me on my way. Let me get my pension. Let's talk about real quick before we move on to. There's a few stories here I want to get to. One of them is the Shaq and Gobert story. We're going to get to that in a second. Chris Paul. And the incident in Dallas the other night, did you see or hear much about that? Do you know what's going on with that?
Yeah. You know what? I remember when we were playing Philly in the finals, and I remember there was a fight that broke out near my dad, and I thought someone had jumped on my dad, and I was about to take off, but I saw him get up and move out of the way. And people don't understand, when it comes to your family, you click, man. That kid is lucky. He's lucky that Chris Paul is one of the mature players and, responsible. But, I think the scariest thing when he said, I'll find you, or I'm going to see you again, whatever he said.
Yeah.
That's scary enough, because now when you leave your door, you look like this, because he got the assets. He's
got resources.
He got resources to find you.
Yeah.
And so it's good. And I bet that kid probably scrubbed everything he had on social media.
Change his profile picture to Homer Simpson going into the bushes.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because, for you to touch someone's, first of all,
his mother and his wife.
It's a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
For you to put your hands on a woman, and that is a whole nother deal. And for this little kid, I said, if you old enough to come to a game, you old enough to talk shit to my mom and my wife, you old enough to get these hands. Because I guarantee if that had been me, you talking about the malice in the palace, there would have been nothing that could have got me off that kid until I felt satisfied.
So they were saying, and I don't know, a lot of this is probably a little bit of PR spin on Dallas's part. This is not a shot at Dallas. That he wanted hugs. That the kid wanted to give the mom and the wife a hug. And that's why hands were on them. Now, to me, this screams him trying to weasel his way out of a expulsion from the stadium and a suspension from the stadium, which, by the way, the two kids involved in this incident are gone through the end of 2023. They can't come back into the arena. So it's adios to you.
Why can't it be a ban for life?
I don't know.
Every NBA arena.
Great question.
It should be banned for life from every NBA arena. So,
but see, here's the thing with me. Like, even if Dallas is trying to spin it as though, like, he wanted a hug, okay, that still doesn't make it good enough, because if she says no and you keep bugging her and they said, I saw the report where they just kept tapping them. Like, they may have been drinking too much and tapping, sure. and she told you to stop. She's told you to chill. And so when you keep doing it and you keep, talking trash to him, look, man, chill out. And I agree with Shaq. I agree with what Shaq said. He's like, look, if you're going to have your family down there, you need to have you some cousins down there around your family, to where, if things are getting rowdy and folk getting out of control and they're getting disrespectful, you got the green light to handle it. Because I don't want to have to stop what I'm doing to handle it, because if I stop what I'm doing to handle it, it's going to be really something. Like, it's going to be another malice in the palace. So I'm going to have some cousins there with me, around my mama, around my wife, and around my kids. So if something go crazy, hey, you got the green light to do what you got to do. If they body need to be chalked out on the floor, body need to be chalked out on the floor. That's what you got to do.
I don't think people understand how sons feel about their mothers. I'm going to give you a little instance. I remember I got Kiva and Cameron Cameron, huge Durant fan, right? This when Cameron's maybe like 8 or 9 years old. He went to a game, and the dude kept kicking Kiva's seat. And Kiva turned around. Kiva's my ex-wife. He turned around and she says, can you please stop kicking my seat? And he said something to Kiva. Cameron, like 9 or 10 years old, he jumped up and said, what'd you say to my mama? He was about to throw a hand. This grown man, 10 years old. I'm like, and Kiva had to hold him. Like, oh, no, Cameron, it's okay. You don't say that about my mama. And that's the thing that people understand about boys and their mothers. They go, hey, if you say something out of line, that they don't feel is they feel is disrespectful, you're going to get some hands on you, man. I think that's just, I don't care. I think that's just everywhere. It don't matter who you are. Boys are protective of their mothers.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if it ever got to that point, Robert Horry, I'll be calling you for bail money, because you're the only one. You and Shaq are the only people that be able to afford to get me out.
I know people. You ain't even have to have the bail money. You just I got scot-free. You might not even make it down to the county.
Shit, they might call Shaq to come get you. You might just be able to pay that right there.
Because that's the only person that somebody could do something to, and I would completely black out.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what I do when I black out, You tell me once I come back to reality what I did. But once I black out, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Hey, Moon Knight.
Jake Lockley comes out, and that's the end of it. For me, it's yes, I have that for my mother, but I've never felt that way more than I feel with my daughter. And that's probably a dads and daughters thing. And it's like, I've got sons. I love my sons, but I know my sons can protect themselves. Like, if someone comes at one of my sons, they'll lay them out.
Right.
My daughter, forget it. I'd black out. Same thing. I'd Moon Knight whoever touched my kid. That would be the end of it. But,
just what it is.
Yeah, it sucks. CP3's response online, by the way, want to fine players for saying stuff to the fans, but the fans can put their hands on our families. Fuck that. CP3. He's right.
Hey guys, Jay Cutler. Started a new podcast called Uncut with Jay Cutler. Most of you know me from the NFL, some of you have seen me on Instagram, and some of you know me from the reality TV world. Each week I'm taking you along with me as we discuss football, trending topics, and whatever's going on in my life each week. I'm bringing along people that are special in my life. Former teammates, friends, and some new people that I like and respect. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Podcasting? I think I'm doing this right. Can't wait to get started with you. Go subscribe now. Uncut with Jay Cutler, Apple Podcasts, Podcast One, and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now, you agree with what Charles said, right, Big Shot? Did you hear what he said? He says, honestly, I've said this before. They should bring people down. They should allow those fans come down to the center of the court, and I should have about 5 minutes with them, and I want to kick their ass for 5 minutes. And I want you to say what you said to me when we were in the stands. He said, I want to know that they're not going to press charges civilly, and ain't nobody going to jail. I want you to say what you said to me, and so I can kick your ass for 5 minutes.
That never happened. Come on. We are not the society of accountability. We don't do that. Everybody's got keyboard muscles in this society.
He said, I'm going to take my time, too. I'm going to use all the 5 minutes.
Put it on the clock. Run it down. Well, here, I agreed with Charles the other night when he said this.
Rudy.
No, I wonder what French barbecue chicken tastes like. That's gonna be
I would say, I'm not sure how many jump hooks. Could you get that jump hook off on him?
I'm not shooting no jump. I'm back, like I said, I'm back here, little skinny ass down. Weave, Rudy, I'm throwing the ball and I'm dunking. Kurt, stop it.
Yeah, Rudy gonna eat some black barbecue chicken. He gonna hurt kids in the stands blocking your shot.
Shaq versus Rudy Gobert. No offense to Rudy Gobert. I have nothing against Rudy as a player. No chance in hell.
Come on.
No.
Sorry, that's not even a conversation. There's just no chance. Rudy's online responding to the comments in a Bleacher Report post. I'll lock his ass up. Come on. Have you watched a minute of Shaq in his prime? I mean, you played with the guy, you know.
I look at it like this. All right, Rudy, let's see. Has there anybody similar to your build that's ever guarded Shaq? Deke, Dikembe Mutombo, better shot blocker. What did he do to Dikembe Mutombo?
You got that bone.
Okay. Oh, let's see. What did he do to David Robertson?
Oh, 8-time defensive, all-tall defensive player. Yeah.
So Gobert, stop, man. Stop. I appreciate you trying to, stand up for yourself, but we all know you got dunked on so many times. You've been Chris Dudley. Was it Dudley?
Yeah, Dudley. Yeah, when he legged him and then shoved him, and Dudley's hurling the ball down the court at him. You'd have 100% been on a post.
But don't get me wrong now. Gobert would have probably blocked a couple of Shaq shots, but Shaq would have probably just had him sitting on the bench.
Cool. So did Yao Ming. He blocked a couple of Shaq shots. But at the end of the day, look, man.
But in this day and age, I got one block on Shaq. That's like getting 50. So he probably, I got one block.
That counts.
I got one block. That's equivalent to 50.
Cool. Well, after you get that one block, you're going to have a heck of a story to tell when you get to the gates of heaven, because that's what Shaq going to send you. Because after he get done with Rudy Gobert, his body going to be chalked out on that floor. It's going to be rest in peace.
Yeah. It's funny. I watch Rudy Gobert and I watch other big centers like him. He's not the most graceful guy. He need to jump a lot of rope or something because his footwork is not that good. He seems like he's always tripping over his feet sometimes. So he's not as graceful as Deke was Dikembe was a way better shot blocker, way better defender. So
Well, I think footwork is sort of a lost art now in today's NBA, at least. I mean, in your day, in your heyday. I mean, obviously we always talk about Dream, but there were guys that just worked on that. They just worked on that constantly, especially big guys.
Yeah, you had to because you couldn't travel like they do nowadays.
Now you take 18, 20 steps, don't matter, man. The Harden step back, how many steps is that? 15?
That's like 6, man. I'm like, it's crazy.
The moral of this story is, and we all can learn a lesson, leave the big fella alone.
Don't push.
Just leave him alone.
Don't push. We all know him well enough to know this isn't going to end well.
Because he's going to respond.
He's got time. The guy's got nothing but time. He's going to come back at you.
Nothing but money and time. That's all he has. He will respond to you all day.
Oh, no.
Leave him alone. If you don't know what he's done, look at YouTube if you're too young.
How did you – so you played on teams, obviously, with Shaquille, of course, but did you ever have to face him as far as on a team that you guys had to play against them?
Who, big fella?
Yeah.
In college, and he was at LSU out of Alabama, and you forget we swept their asses in 95 in the finals.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So, how do you scheme against prime Shaq?
See, he wasn't prime Shaq in 95.
Well, he was still rookie Shaq. Yeah,
3 years.
3 years in. Yeah,
he was still trying to get his body right, but when he got MVP in 2000, there was no stopping him, man.
Yeah,
it was just ridiculous because I think Shaq is so graceful as far as moving up and down the court, posting up, spinning, even handling the rock. There's so many things that he was able to do at his size, and it was amazing, man, some of the things that he could do on the court. And if he would have ever just, stayed healthy, stayed in shape, we wouldn't be talking about nobody else as the best big man of all time. It would be undoubtedly the best that ever was. Maybe except for Kareem.
I'll say, hands down, that 2000 Shaq was absolutely, ain't nobody but God himself could have stopped him. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, watching that Orlando Shaq and that body, the way he would get up and down the floor and the way how agile he was.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't in his prime yet, that from an agility standpoint and just from a big man, because they had never seen a big man move like that.
Yeah.
And so movement in that size of a body, that always amazes me sometimes more than the 2000 Shaq, because that big of a man, even though he wasn't huge, that size, he was, he was stocky,
agile, though.
Right.
He was agile.
A big man's not supposed to move like that. They had never seen that before.
Yeah. Yeah. Orlando Shaq had some moments. 2000 Shaq, unstoppable.
Right. But that early 90s Shaq with Orlando was special because it's just how graceful he moved.
Yeah.
It was something special.
Yeah, I'm always curious about how you like, if you're on a team, how you scheme against them.
But we used to.
What do you draw up against that?
For us though, as the ball was in the air, we was like double teaming. It was mostly my job because everybody else was too short. So I would just try to double team, and on the kick out, I just haul ass. Yep. I hated when they didn't kick it and then go back in unless B. Shaw was in the game. A lot of times it was other players. They would move it around, try to get a three. But with B. Shaw, you'll haul ass out. Then B. Shaw will fake that shit and go right back. And I'm like, God dang, I got to get back over there. And it was too late. So
he would run your ass.
He should run the shit out of my ass.
Now all my boys got is a bad hip and feet that can cut glass.
Oh, God. Toes that would make Doctor Strange go. Tom Brady. Did you see the Tom Brady deal?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Tom Brady, who I guess still has at least another year to play.
That man finna play another 2 years.
In the NFL. He could probably play another 2, but we don't even know if he's good at announcing. We would assume he is because he's pretty well spoken, but you don't even know. You are rolling the dice. Fox signed him to a 10-year deal, $375 million.
That's baseball money.
That's
more than he make playing.
Yeah.
He should have said, fuck it right now and leave.
Yeah, it told Bruce, be like, out, see ya.
I'm like, has there ever been a player to retire twice? It's one off season.
Retire, unretire, retire again. Yeah. He'll be calling games with Kevin Burkhardt, who's taking Joe Buck's position with Fox. And by the way, congrats to Kevin because he's a good dude. But $40 million a year.
He must hate home.
Well, I was curious.
Got to.
You got a supermodel wife. How do you hate
but
home?
He only has to fly in the day and then fly right out. He got a private plane, man. $40 million a year. He got
$40 million a year? Yeah.
Matter of fact, he's taking his family with him. He can afford it. It's just a Sunday brunch in another city.
He can't stand them kids. he can't stand them kids. Bro, ain't no way in the world. You retire after last season. Sit there for a couple of months. You probably at home. Them kids, your nerve, your wife nagging you. You can't get any rehab. Every time you go somewhere and do something, even dealing with football, your wife probably nag. Why don't you put that down and spend some time with us? You know what? I'm going to go back. You know what? I'm going back for another season.
Someone give me a playbook.
I want to know what the percentage is for divorce. I know after basketball players retire, it's like an 85% chance that they get a divorce. It might have changed, but for a while there was 85%. Once you retire, it's an 85% chance you get a divorce. I wonder what it is in football.
I don't know, but I bet Tom Brady
can't be a lot better.
Tom Brady is like, look here, babe. I think the best thing for our marriage, and hear me out, is that you never see me. Matter of fact, I'm a better husband when you never see me. When I FaceTime the kids and I'm not, versus me being at home, I am the best. If I got to spend at least a week in that house with them kids, it's going to be some furniture moving.
Hey, she's like, 40 million? Go right ahead. I'll be over here shopping. I'll be over here on the...
I got news for you. You keep your $375 million contract. If I hit a point in my life where I'm sick of my supermodel wife, I mean, Jesus.
Well, Jennings, you got to understand, they always say this. I don't care how fine a woman is. There's always somebody, excuse my French, mama, there's always some man out there that's tired of her shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, that is true. I've heard that
That's
before.
just what I heard. That wasn't me that came up with it. That's just the law of the land.
I think you can, Robert Horry said that once, didn't he? No,
I ain't saying shit. I'm actually staying out of this conversation.
Yeah, because somebody's like, Tom, how could you not want to go home? Your wife, dog, if you only knew.
Yo, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
My big shot of the week this week, and then I've got questions here that people have sent in. As we've got into the NBA playoffs, people were like, I wonder what this was for Rob. I wonder what that was for Rob. Ask Rob about this. So I've got playoff memory questions here I want to ask you. Just chance for you to talk about your experience in the playoffs. Our big shot of the week is going to go to my favorite NBA player right now, Draymond Green. Draymond and his wife Hazel paying tribute to his former Michigan State teammate, Adrian Payne, who was tragically shot on Monday in Florida, making a $100,000 charitable donation in his name to the university. And he said, quote, I call on my Spartan family, Coach Izzo, Magic, Jaren Jackson, Miles Bridges, all of my Spartan family to come in and let's do something to honor Adrian.
He was drafted by the Hawks, I believe.
I don't remember.
I believe he was drafted by the Hawks.
He's a big, right?
Yeah.
He was just in 5 years ago. He was still in college.
Well, he's in his
he was on that championship team, wasn't he?
I think so. He was 31 when he passed.
Yeah. So he's probably not too far out, but
I believe he was drafted by the Hawks, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
So he got shot and killed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, it's just
drafted by the Hawks. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Michigan State in 2014. He was there.
I remember watching him. He was one of those bruisers in there, man. I'm glad Draymond's stepping up because when someone is tragically killed like that, the families they're not playing for it. They're distraught, and this guy is probably a major provider for his family. So I'm glad guys who got the bank like that can step up and make that donation. So
and the man barely. I mean, and then you think about it. Someone losing their life like that. I don't care how old you are. It's tragic. But dude was 31.
Yeah.
Barely lived his life. I mean, wasn't even as far as life. Wasn't really in his prime yet. You're 31, dog.
Yeah. It's tragic. It's a really, really tragic story. But props to Draymond, who in the heat of everything going on in the playoffs could have just not really called a lot of attention to this and just took his post-game press conference and said, look, I'm donating $100,000 to the university in his name, and I think everybody that played on that team at some point or has some Spartan pride in him needs to step up and do something to honor him. So, just a nice job by Draymond. So I like that.
Absolutely.
All right, so people have been sending me questions for you for the postseason. Nothing crazy, just like ask Rob about this or ask Rob about that. What game of the postseason do you remember the best? Was it a good game, a bad game? Was it one of your epic shots? Like, what game in the postseason can you recall the cleanest?
The one that cost me $6 million.
Okay.
Game 5 in San Antonio when I was with the Lakers, and I missed that buzzer shot. And the reason it stands out because they were saying, don't leave Robert. They left me. And the ball literally goes in and comes out. And I'm usually upset if I miss the shot, but that's the most disgusted I've ever been after missing the shot because that whole year, that whole playoff series, I just sucked from 3. I was terrible. And the reason I say it cost me $6 million because the Lakers cut me right after that game. I won't say right after the game, but after that playoff series, because I sucked big time, and so that
you just remember
because
that.
It cost me $6 million.
If something cost me $6 million, I remember
it too. But you know what? It's always funny because people will ask that question of anybody in any industry. What's the one thing that you remember the most? It's always, especially with athletes, it always seems like the ones that fell short or the loss that hurt the most or the one shot you missed versus the tons that you hit. And the big ones in the big moments, those are great. But the ones that stick with you always seem to be the ones that fell short.
Because, pain, what do they say? Pain is the greatest remembrance or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you remember the pain, boy. But, I had a lot of great shots. I remember, the Game 7, the first 2 points in 94 of games, me dunking on Patrick Ewing. And, you think about it, way to start out in a, run for your first championship, Game 7 in your building. Dream gives you the pass, you go down, you dunk on Patrick Ewing, which should have been and one, and you start the game out right like that, and you just go from there. And it's a lot of moments. There's so many, man. I got, you have a little coffee table book of great moments, So
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What was the toughest place to play on the road in the postseason?
I hated playing in Sacramento, man, because you got to say they were
what.
Yes, they were good. The arena was small. Yeah. The locker room was god awful. It was so terrible. It looked like it had rats running around in it. I can't say that because of Boston. Because even though the Knicks in '94 it was awful in their arena, but at least it was spacious. Yeah, not Sacramento's. It was just awful. Arco was a terrible place to play if you're the opposing team. Great place if you're the home team because the fans was like a college arena. It was loud. It was crazy. So Arco, and then a close second is Denver.
Denver, really? Why Denver?
Denver was always cold because when we played against Denver, Denver sucked. So it was the Avalanche that was winning championships. So their arena was always cold.
Oh, yeah, because they would always have the hockey rink. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. The floor was so cold. You lay down on the stretch, you start shivering because you're so cold. And plus, the altitude, it'll get you every once in a while.
Yep. Yeah, the thin air. Yeah. What game did you really want your parents to attend? Was it your first shot at a title? Was it your first ever playoff game? Was there a game that like mom and dad have to be here?
For me, it was the Game 7 of the '94 finals.
Okay.
I think for me, I wanted them there because knowing all the great players that came before me that hadn't had a chance to be in a position to win a title. And I wanted them to be there just for that moment, just in case I won a title, and I did. It was great to share that. You actually can see my mom in the locker room with me, and I have a picture of her. She has the champagne in her hand and everything.
That's
so
awesome.
It's a cool little picture. But I don't know where my dad was. He must have been somewhere drinking with somebody taking some shots, but he wasn't in the locker room, man. I had to find him after the game.
He's out with the crowd, man. Let's go. Let's go.
But yeah, after that though, what I started doing is I started taking my dad on the roads with me to games. So he would in the finals. My dad would go, my mom would come to the home games because they both started having significant others they came with. So I can't have 4 grown adults in my house.
Yeah,
that's too many.
Yeah.
That, and I imagine too, you're limited with the amount of tickets that you can just get for people for finals games. You know, like damn.
At home is easy. On the road is the hard part.
Oh
yeah.
Did you ever have a game or appearance where you were racked by nerves, either beforehand, on the floor, or watching from the bench?
You know what? My very first game in the NBA was played in Japan against the Seattle Supersonics, and I was nervous as shit. Because preseason games when you're rookies, they don't count, so you don't really care.
Right.
But their first game against Seattle, I was nervous as heck. And then when we came back home, we played a home game, I was nervous. And then after the first 2 or 3 games, it kind of subsided. But
what about in the playoffs? Was there ever like a game 7 or something that was just where it all was like on the line and you're just
Yes. Only one time. Game 7 against the Detroit Pistons in 2005. And the reason is that for some odd reason, when I was game 7 against the Knicks, I was fine. It was something about looking over there, knowing you got Dream and Vernon and Kenny and all these guys, you're fine. But I know he's like, so you comparing Dream, Vernon, and Kenny to, Tim, Manu, and Tony.
Well, those guys were scrappers. Though that's the difference.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you think about who would you rather have on your team to fight with you, the San Antonio guys or and I didn't know these guys like that because I've seen some times where we get in a situation where you got to punch someone in the mouth and they wouldn't do it. And so I was like, okay, I don't know how they're going to react to this adversity. What are they going to do? I was really nervous for that game. And I've never been that so I've been nervous before, but that was a different kind of nerve because I know if the Lakers, we got the game 7 against Portland, fine. Sacramento, fine. I knew what we had. But you think about it, there's not one person on the Spurs team where you think about they're going to, come out and say, we're going to kick the ass. Mm-hmm. There was no rah-rah guys on that team. And that's not a bad thing. But it was just, sometimes you need to hear a guy say something or talk to himself or something to let them know, like, oh, we about to bust their ass. I'm going to kill them tonight. Because Kobe was like that. Shaq was like that. Vernon, Dream, those guys had that quality. But and I know people probably says, well, what you saying about the Spurs? I'm just saying they were different. That ain't bad. It's just they were different.
They weren't those guys. Like they weren't those guys to where you knew, and everybody can't be those guys. You got people who can and you have people who aren't, and that's fine on each end. So they were different.
Well, and it's Detroit.
They had the inner drive. And, you think about Rasheed Wallace, who doesn't get talked about how freaking good Rasheed is. You got Ben Wallace, and you got the fake Mr. Big Shot, and then you got Chauncey. You got Rip.
No, not the fake Mr. Big Shot.
I always just remember Rip with the face mask. That was always the thing that stuck out to me was Rip. It was always Rip with the face mask. So, but that Detroit team, man, they would come at you.
They would come at you. Yeah. I remember telling McDyess on that team, I said, we friends now, but if I got to pop you in the mouth, we'll pop you in the mouth, and then we'll talk about it in the summertime.
We'll have a conversation over beers another time.
That's true.
Last question. Who was the toughest team or opponent you remember facing in your playoff or title run?
Portland Trailblazers back in in the 2000, the team.
Okay.
Man, even though we were up 3-1 on these guys, but it was just something about Sabonis and Rasheed and Steve Smith and what's the guy named? The big guy he'd be on the post. I can't think of his name. I can see his face clearly, but they were just a beast, man. The guys played hard. They had Scotty who was calling out our fucking plays. That was the Scotty years,
right?
Yeah, calling out our plays and everything. So it was Bonzi Wells. I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was bananas. Them and then maybe the Sacramento team. The thing about that Sacramento team, they had all the pieces. They had a nice power forward. They had a great center. They had a guy who could make shots for you one night and D you up, and Doug Christie. And then you had Bibby who was killing it that year. So I say Portland first with Sacramento a close second. Everybody else was kind of,
Well, that's
and
probably
the San Antonio teams two or third, if you have top 3. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's probably one of the few times you're going to hear Sacramento a close second. On this show, at least.
Follow the show on Twitter at Big Shot Bob Pod for links to all our guests and all sorts of fun. The Big Shot Bob Pod is a presentation of Live by Live's Podcast One and Podcast One Sportsnet.
Stream the biggest movies and TV shows for free on Pluto TV. Watch movies like Titanic and G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, plus TV shows like CSI and Star Trek: The Next Generation. Starting this month, check out the 24/7 Stargate channel exclusively on Pluto TV. Plus hundreds of channels and thousands of movies and TV shows absolutely free. Download the free Pluto TV app on your favorite streaming device and start watching today.
Spoiler alert, Fresca Mixed is the drink of the summer. Classic Fresca taste, real spirits, zero sugar, and only 100 calories. Find the new Fresca Mixed Vodka Spritz variety pack with 4 delicious flavors or the Tequila Paloma near you at frescamix.com/buy. Enjoy responsibly. Fresca is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company. Fresca Mixed 5% alcohol by volume. Vodka Spritz, vodka with natural flavors and artificial sweeteners. Tequila Paloma, tequila with natural flavor. All products per 12 fluid ounce average analysis. Calories 100, protein 0 grams, fat 0 grams, carbs range from 1.3 to 1.6 grams.
Fast Twitch, the new energy drink from Gatorade, is here. And it's powering fast starts for athletes in every arena, like NBA All-Star Zion Williamson, WNBA champ Kalia Copper, and MLB superstar Francisco Lindor. With 200 milligrams of caffeine, electrolytes, and zero sugar, Fast Twitch is the new go-to for on-the-go energy anytime you need to turn up the intensity. Available in 6 refreshing Gatorade-inspired flavors. Grab Fast Twitch in the energy drink aisle at a store near you.
The biggest Braves coverage in the South is always rolling at thepodcastpark.com. Check out the fans' exclusive lineup of Braves podcasts, including K-Mac's weekly Braves update, the Braves Clubhouse Report, 643 with Dylan Short, plus the return of Hardball with Chris Domino, and the latest breaking news every morning at 10 a.m. with Matt Chernoff's Daily 10. Get our Braves podcast everywhere you get podcasts, or stream them all for free on the 680 The Fan app or thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.